Hey, what is up guys? MKBHD here, and welcome back. We had a little bit of a break there. A lot has happened since that K20 Pro video a week and a half ago. Number one, we've finished shooting Retro Tech Season 1, so it's now in the editing process, which is really exciting. And number two, the channel just rolled over 9 million subscribers, which is incredible, so thumbs up for that. And number three, Samsung just got on stage and unveiled their two new phones, Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Okay, so this video is dropping at the same time as Samsung's event, but if you don't want to watch all of that, this video is for you. I got hands-on time with Samsung's two new Galaxy Notes, and I have some thoughts. So first of all, the Galaxy Note has always been Samsung's do-everything maximum overkill phone for power users, you know? But now that there's two phones, I've kind of found there's this interesting relationship between the two where the Note 10 Plus is still the do-everything phone, with one exception. But then the Note 10 is a sort of awesome phone for most people type of phone. I'll show you what I mean. So the new design, first of all, I really like it. They're leaning into this boxier look. The display goes right up to the edges. There's almost no top or bottom bezel at all, and the screen has this curve on both of the sides that really make it feel like almost entirely screen. It's super immersive, especially the corners. It gets crazy close to the corners and doesn't round them too much. So I love the way this phone looks and feels in the hand, as cliche as that sounds. But even though I kind of like the flat screens more, this is a nice phone design. It's a 6.3-inch 1080p AMOLED display on the Note 10 and a 6.8-inch 1440p AMOLED on the Note 10 Plus. And so now there's a couple of things to note that actually happened with the Note here. The selfie camera is now in the Infinity O cutout, meaning it's the hole punch in the middle of the top of the phone. Mixed feelings on this, but I don't hate it. It's a smaller area than it was in the corner of the S10, and there's usually no information in the middle of the top anyway, so I guess it's fine. And it's also kind of funny, they didn't even really try to hide the cutout at all. You see a lot of phones with the hole punches try to like hide the cutout with a nice gradient wallpaper so you don't really notice it, but not with the Note. This is the default Samsung wallpaper. Bright as hell, just embracing it, I guess. But there's also a new set of colors, one of which is this crazy psychedelic rainbow sheen that they call Aura Glow. It's kind of wild how many different colors you see in it, but also still a fingerprint magnet and will probably still be worth skinning or casing, but this color is crazy cool. And the fingerprint reader, to note, has moved quietly underneath the display glass to match the Galaxy S10. But it's not all amazing. There are some things that they've changed that aren't so great. There is no headphone jack on the Samsung Galaxy Note. The first Samsung flagship, really, with no jack. They say it's an issue with space for a bigger battery. I say, like, if you can fit an entire pen in the side of the phone, you could have fit a headphone jack. This is no longer a space issue in the phone, guys. This is a constant choice that they're making. If you haven't already noticed, it's the beginning of the end. The headphone jack is, it's leaving and it's not coming back. Samsung will include headphones, but USB Type-C earbuds in the box, and no dongle included. So if you still really want to use that jack, then you're on your own. And they also messed with the button layout. So the power button on the Note 10 is now also the Bixby button. Did you not think I was gonna bring that up, Samsung? So on the left-hand side, it's just the button and the volume rockers. So the whole other right side of the phone is just clean, it's blank, no buttons at all. And so that power button, if you just tap it, it does the normal wake and sleep stuff. But if you hold it for any longer, Bixby. No matter how long you hold it, this button does not turn off the phone. It will just open Bixby. To turn off the phone, you'll have to go to this new button in the notification drop-down right next to the settings button, and that'll let you decide to turn off your Note 10. I didn't get to spend enough time to see if this was remappable in the settings or if you could disable it. I'm hoping yes, but that's something I'll have to figure out when I actually get the phone for the full review, so definitely stay tuned for that. But other than that though, honestly, Note 10 and Note 10 Plus are built awesome. They're premium, they're metal and glass, it's what you'd expect. And then also, there's a camera upgrade. So you've probably noticed already by now, the triple cameras on the back. There's a 12 megapixel main camera, a 2x telephoto camera, and an ultra wide as well, which is sick. And when showing me this phone, Samsung was making a big deal out of how these new cameras are great as a pro photo and video tool. So I did notice you can record video with the ultra wide camera again, so you can get that crazy GoPro look with this water resistant phone. But they also added features like live focus during video recording, an improved super steady shot for video, so the stabilization is awesome, and this crazy zoom in mic feature, which basically is the more you zoom in the video, the more the microphone array focuses on the area in the frame, like a sort of a Spy Kids gadget from 2001. I definitely got to try this out in a controlled environment. Also, shout out to Mr. Mobile's cameraman for going the extra mile. Can't wait to see that shot in his video. But then, of course, it's not a Galaxy Note without the S Pen, and they've refreshed the S Pen again this year with a couple extra new features. Screen off memo has been one of my favorite Note features for a while now, but something they added in the Notes is they convert your handwriting to text in the background and then indexes that text. So now if you take a note with the stylus and then want to find it later, you can go up into the search in the Notes app and type the word you wrote, and it'll actually show up. That is a super cool, I think, very useful feature. There's also now some new air actions for controlling the camera, like holding the button and swiping between modes, or flipping from the selfie camera to the back camera, or allegedly even twirling clockwise or counterclockwise to zoom, but I must have been doing this wrong. I honestly couldn't get it to work for the life of me. You probably need an S Pen twirling tutorial that I'm just not ready for. File these in the gimmicks folder, please. But around that, One UI on these Samsung phones is definitely going to help on the bigger screens because of all the improvements to the one-handedness, and there's even a couple extra new features like a native screen recorder too on the Galaxy Note. But overall, yeah, it'll look similar to the Galaxy S10, as you can already see, with the flatter, colorful look we've seen for a while now. That's just One UI. Oh, and of course, how could I forget the specs? It is a flagship after all. Boom, you're looking at pretty much all top of the line, and a 25-watt fast charger that comes in the box, which is great, and a really solid battery on that Note 10 Plus. Look, the Note 10 and 10 Plus are looking like pretty great phones, but there's something I want you to notice. If you've paid attention throughout this video, you've probably noticed there's a bunch of little things that are different between the 10 and 10 Plus that push you towards the 10 Plus. And by you, I mean the power user. You know, of course, the larger screen and larger battery, that's obvious with the bigger phone, but also the Note 10 is 1080p and the Note 10 Plus is 1440p. There are 3 standard colors, but there's an extra 4th fancy blue color just for the Note 10 Plus. There's gonna be a 5G version of the Note launching later this year, and it will only be 5G for the Note 10 Plus. You max out at 8 gigs of RAM on the 10, or you can get 12 gigs of RAM on the 10 Plus. There's 256 gigs of storage on the 10, or up to 512 gigs of storage on the 10 Plus. And the microSD card expansion slot is only on the 10 Plus. And then on top of that, the 10 Plus is the only one that supports the crazy 45-watt super fast charging. The brick is sold separately, but that would be some crazy fast charging to be able to use that. Even with the 3 cameras, they both have triple cameras, but if you look closely, the 10 has just the 3 cameras and a flash, while the 10 Plus has a bunch of additional depth sensors for good measure. Now, does all this somehow mean the Note 10 is bad or lacking? No, it's still 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, and the Snapdragon 855 and 400 PPI, even though it's 1080p, is still great. It's more than most people alive need right now. But it's those extra little things on top of all of that, especially the battery, that big battery, that make the Note 10 Plus the king of the hill, the flagship that they want your power users to go out and spend extra on. So the Note 10 starts at $949, and the Note 10 Plus starts at $1,099. That's the gap. But here's my take. I'm gonna review both, so I'm gonna go get them both in hand. I think this might be the first time I actually really like the smaller phone as far as feel in the hand over the bigger one. I think, we'll see. And honestly, the one thing I wish they did that they didn't with the Note, if they really wanted it to make the everything phone for 2019, is a high refresh display. You know, a 90 hertz or even 120 hertz display. That's not happening. Still a 60 hertz OLED, and it's still, of course, one of the best screens in any phone, but it's gonna be hard to say that this phone does everything when you're starting to get phones, even though it's pretty new, like the OnePlus 7 Pro and the ROG phone doing crazy numbers. But anyway, that's been it. I've been talking for too long. It's a long video, but that's everything you need to know about Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. Feel free to share this with anyone who might be considering getting one. And that's been it for my first impressions. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.